jealous.
I'm not a Disney person at all. I'm like, well, we have a day before our friends are ready for us, so
No, actually, that's what I want to do. The year I retire, that October, I want to go to Disney, and I want to see the Halloween parades. Because I've worked in the schools for like 28 years. I never go to get to experience. My husband's like, well, that's really much fun. But it's kind of like it to be like 35 years in elementary school. Like, of course, that's what I want to do. You know?
so we didn't do it. One of our kids worked in
Oh yeah, that sounds excellent.
when he came home with the book over the house, I had a scarecrow and I'm like, there's a lot more control over these things.
Well, and their rule is any activity has to pick it up unless they're in front of somebody. Like Cinderella and all those guys don't pick it up, you know. But anyone who's working has to pick it up, and that's including parents.
I'll try to
like families would come and dump the trash at his feet instead of going to the trash can. And it was good just to set the he's been there.
This is
Can we all rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anybody can leave with a little thing on the back of the microphone.
Grab one of those.
I don't need one, I'm good.
And we're going to do a quick little prayer.
Oh Lord, as we get in this stage, do important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding.
First thing on the agenda is public comment. The only thing I'll say about public comment is if you get on the microphone set over there so everybody can hear you, and just state your name and your address. My name is Roger Luther. I'm the Executive Director of the Preservation Association of the Southern Tier, PAST. PAST has been around since 1976. We promote the historic preservation of properties in Broome and Owego County. I live in Greenwich. Mayor Barretta and Board of Trustees, thank you for allowing me to say a few words on the topic of historic preservation in Owego. 19 years ago this month, I came to Owego from Buffalo. Driving across the old Court Street Bridge, I was struck by the natural and architectural beauty of this area. I will never forget that first impression of this village, and to this day, I haven't seen a more impressive example of historic preservation of an entire community in the southern tier. Preservation of this built environment is testament to a community that takes great pride in its history and architectural heritage, and I believe is due in no small part to the efforts of an effective Historic Preservation Commission. For 2 decades, the Owego Historic Preservation Commission has served as an invaluable resource not just for property owners, but for the entire community, providing information, guidance, and options with consistency and in compliance with accepted standards. As a result, the village was designated as a certified local government, CLG, eligible to receive a variety of services and grants from the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO. Regrettably, the Owego Historic Preservation Commission was recently abolished, and as a result, decertification of CLG status occurred last month. That means the village no longer qualifies for ongoing technical and legal advice, training, and related grants. In addition, the village can no longer participate in the process of listing properties on the National Historic Register. Since being certified in 1988, Binghamton has benefited greatly from its relationship with SHPO in terms of ongoing support, guidance, and grants. In fact, development of the city's comprehensive historic design guidelines was funded by CLG grants. Throughout history, the village of Owego has effectively promoted and maintained its historic and architectural heritage, which in my opinion is its greatest attribute. Now, with the loss of the Historic Preservation Commission, the future of this architectural treasure could be in jeopardy, and so too that priceless first impression by visitors to this area. I respectfully urge the Board of Trustees to revisit this matter and consider reestablishing the Owego Historic Preservation Commission. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Ladies first.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I just wanted to address the board and the community before this meeting tonight. When I hosted bike night at the Parkview for 6 years, we never had any problems, not even one. And people would come, you know, with $85,000, $90,000 motorcycles from all over New York State and Pennsylvania. And they liked that venue because the parking lot was good for their bikes, the roads were good, they didn't have to get their motorcycles dirty. That was one of the biggest things. I had talked about possibly, I know there were some other people that wanted bike night, and one of our major sponsors for the event came right out and told me to look at the parking lot. If it had potholes, ruts, dirt, rocks, whatever, the motorcycles wouldn't come out, or at least not the people that are driving the $85,000 and $90,000 motorcycles. Because of the crowd that we had a very, very good event, and when Beth decided to go under construction, her and I had a lot of talking to do because we both loved the event and we both were really struggling to figure out what to do. And what I saw as an option, because I know the event brought an awful lot of money into the Parkview and the community, was that if I was going to continue to help out, that I wanted the profits from that event to go to the veterans. You know, so I approached the American Legion after I looked at their parking lot, after I looked at the spaces that were on the street. The event only runs from 6:30 to 8:30, but most of them leave at 8. so they don't have to get bugs or get bugs on their motorcycles or whatever. It's a very, very, very good event. But one thing I want to say is I've heard that people maybe aren't happy having it there, and I just want everybody to know that if that is the case, I certainly, with my profession and my place in the community, the last thing I want to do is make anybody unhappy, and I'll walk away from it. And if they get the permit, they're so welcome to do it. And I can tell you, anybody, any bar can have a bike night. I did this bike night fashioned after the one at Silver Beach. I didn't say, oh, let's put motorcycles in a parking lot and just give everybody a whole bunch of booze and party like hell. You know, we had a constructed program, we had nonprofits in every night that were showcasing what their nonprofit does, and we made it a total community event. So I know it's on the agenda tonight. I just wanted to say these few words because I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on with the festival and everything else. But I just want to let everybody know that bike night, and if you have not gone, is an absolutely spectacular and very, very clean and no problems event. You know, some people think bikers look a little bit scary, but I'll tell you what, I want them to have my back any day, you know, and I think they protect that neighborhood. So they're decent people, they're respectable. Any profits would not be going into, you know, they would be going to the veterans. And God only knows that the American Legion, since the flood, needs help. It would be a really good thing if the board would offer them a special use permit so they can at least get back on their feet a little bit. And if it's really objectionable that there can be a compromise, then let them do a couple of events, you know, where people can still come into Owego. They love downtown. They come back on their motorcycles when there isn't a bike night. So that's all I wanted to say. I don't want to be in the middle of any problems, and I totally respect whatever anybody decides. So that's all I have. And I'm speaking on behalf of Wendy, who's lived in Owego for 30 years.
Who's your name?
Wendy Post.
What's your name?
Wendy
Wendy,
Post.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I'm not here representing the Penny Saver. I'm here representing myself as a citizen and a village resident for 30 years. So, and a veteran. So this would mean a lot to me, and I'm sure them too. So thank you.
Yeah, let it go. Let it go.
Good evening, my name is Edward Goodwell. I live at 314 Dean Street in the village of Owego. I'm here representing Tiger Post 401 American Legion and the Owego Citizens Memorial Home, at which I'm currently serving as president of the board of directors. When Wendy came to my post and approached us to take the bike night, I was ecstatic. In 2011, Tiger Post 401 was flooded. It lost everything it had in the downstairs area of that post. Our office, everything, our bar, the whole 9 yards. To this day, that building still sits vacant downstairs. We can't afford to fix it. So when she came to me, I said, we need this money. If there's any money to be had, we need it. We need it to fix our building back up and make it presentable to the people of the village of Owego, New York. And that's the main reason I want bike night at Tiger Post 401. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir, what was your name? I missed your name there. Sir, what was
Thank you,
your,
sir.
what was your name? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Edward Goodwell.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Good evening, Kevin Moore, Owego, New York, 78 Front Street. I noticed tonight that there's an agenda item that I wasn't sure was gonna be on here, but the revised official newspaper of record. And I would strongly encourage the board to look into revising the official paper, which has been the Courier, a local paper that pays village taxes, employs 3 people, has the people from Achieve come down here on Wednesdays to help put the labels on the newspaper, and it is 1/10 the price of the press, which I understand is the new official paper. Now, if you need to put an advertisement in outside of the Courier schedule, you can put it into the Binghamton Press, even though it's not the official paper. I guess that probably more people read the Courier than read the press, and the press and the Courier covers the village and the county, and the press is never here. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment?
Well, Kevin, I'm Rusty Fuller. I don't use the microphone. Kevin took my, all my information about the Courier. I spoke last meeting about the Courier. There's our Courier representative here every meeting. Writes us up. Press doesn't care about us unless there's a negative story. I went and found the numbers. The Courier charges $2 for a notarized affidavit in the paper. The press charges $35. The press charges 57 cents a line. The Courier 38, 29 less. Please put the Courier back as the official paper. And you know, same old way. The press can have it when it's time sensitive. Thanks.
Thank you, Rusty. Anybody else for public comment? Public comment is closed. Yeah, we can do the bike night thing first, if you guys want. For a special use permit. So, it's been requested that the American Legion do a special use permit. I'll make a motion to accept that.
I know before I guess anyone votes on anything, I guess it'd be helpful, I think Jeff probably wants.
Special use permit has to go to 239M of the county. Gives us a recommendation to our planning board, who gives a recommendation to our zoning board. Zoning board actually says yes or no to a special use.
So I apologize, I assume that was done.
What does the zoning board mean?
Well, so then even on top of that, the property I think is in the R3 district. The R3 district doesn't allow special use permits for outdoor events or extending a business like this. It's an R3 district, it's residential. You know, the Legion's use is a non-conforming use. And I think Jeff, acting as the code enforcement officer, has kind of issued an interpretation, I think. If you want to explain.
Oh, you're doing all right.
Well, so it's not an allowed use in that area, is our understanding. And that the Legion, my understanding anyway, is that they haven't held outdoor events previously, so that's why they wouldn't be allowed to do this in that area. It's really a zoning matter.
Right.
You certainly understand why everyone would want to do that and have it there, but I don't know if there's another way to look at it, but insofar as we're talking about it being a zoning issue, there's nothing for the village board to act on.
Yeah, so basically as that R3 sits, then you're just saying that there is no way to get a special use permit.
Right, this type of a thing is not allowed, even under a special use. If it was in maybe the business district or the CB or one of those other commercial type districts.
And the reason we made that the R3 was the issue with the 4 houses.
Right, previously it was R2.
Yeah, we made it from R2 to R3.
What about a use variance?
Well, right, that would be the other thing that would apply for would be a use variance, which would also go to the zoning board.
Right.
What do they need to do to get it to the zoning board? Do they need an action by us for a use variance?
No, the code enforcement office has issued
You just need to
interpretation.
the permit that they filled out for a special use permit, we could just change over to a use variance, but it goes through the same process.
And then you start that process then at zoning and planning?
As soon as I get the application. Problem is, and I'll have to go back and look at my notes, I can't remember if, I'm pretty sure a use variance goes to 239M also. I'm not sure.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'd have to look at exactly the
I'll have to
application.
look at that.
So-
So if 239 is gonna push everything back a month. But
So
they've
does-
already had their deal for this month, so it would have to go next month.
And does that mean that eventually this, after zoning and planning, this comes back to this board for a final vote, or is it, or it just goes through there?
Just goes through zoning.
Assuming both boards approve.
Right.
When does the zoning board meet?
The last Tuesday of the month.
Do they all do something, Jeff, to get the application going, or is that something you can initiate? and get going?
They've already filled one out, I haven't received it. Theirs is for a special use permit, but basically the information that I need for a special use permit, I need for a use variance also, so I'll just change it on their application. I haven't received their application, but I know they filled one out.
The next step would be that zoning board, which meets last Tuesday, which would be next Tuesday.
Next week?
Well, and actually, to Jeff's point, we have to first figure out whether a 239 review is necessary. If a 239 review is necessary, it won't make the meeting this month, that will be heard in May. Well, the ZBA could be asked maybe to do a special meeting, but still the county needs to potentially provide that recommendation, and maybe whenever it is, you know, but they've already met in April, so it wouldn't happen again tonight.
I mean, I don't see any problem with letting them go through the proper channels and go through zoning and planning, but that's up to them whether or not they hit timelines they need to hit. There's nothing we can do on that. I mean, me personally, I don't have a problem. I haven't been approached with any concerns about it yet.
Unfortunately, nobody came to us before it even actually happened, or we could have made it all happen by now.
Yeah.
Or it would have, I don't even have a say in whether it gets approved or not. So
Yeah.
the process could have been over. Okay. Big difference is Parkview was a business in the business district, so there wasn't a problem with that. Being in R3, that's what it is.
When's the first,
When does it start?
what's the date?
It's the last Wednesday in May, May 30th.
I suggest coordinating with Jeff and zoning and planning and making sure you marshal that through as quickly as possible.
If it doesn't have to go to 239, we can speed things up. We can do it this month. But if it has to go to 239, and I really can't remember if it does or not.
Can you follow up with Wendy maybe tomorrow or the next day about that 239?
Yeah,
Or you gotta go with
Get
that?
with Wendy and make sure I know.
Good question. What's the 239?
It's the county's comment on proposed action.
I was just, at,
No, what they're saying is,
We've got a
village
copy
board
of the application.
has
We'll
no
make it
say
real
in
quick.
the permit.
See you tomorrow.
Because it's
Nothing
in
nothing to do with right now.
So you have to go through the zoning board.
I have the zoning papers right here, sir.
Okay, there we go.
But follow up with him tomorrow. Because this process is gonna be quick and you don't wanna miss a deadline.
Right.
If they start the Wednesday of next month, the zoning board meets the Tuesday of next month.
Well, there's one more Tuesday next week.
Right, but if it has to go to the county, it's a different schedule.
And you're all gonna figure that out tomorrow.
Well, yeah, she just needs to follow up with Jeff tomorrow. So if you could do that, Wendy, follow up with Jeff and then go from there.
Yeah, we do our best to expedite that.
Again, make sure you talk with Wendy and Jeff tomorrow.
You good with that, Jeff? Following up with them tomorrow?
oh yeah,
Have Jeff's
yeah.
number? Call him tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, so are we good on that? Wendy, you're good with Jeff tomorrow? Figure out-
I'm gonna be honest with everybody. Part of a use variance is you have to prove that it's not a problem of your making. I don't have, like I said, I don't have a say on any of it, but if that you need a use variance is because it's your problem. It's not something, if it's something that you caused, they can't even consider approval. So everybody knows that.
But that's up to the bike night organizers to argue with.
Right.
And then is the road that it's on, is that a state road?
Yeah.
Okay, so because it's a state road, it would require 239 review.
Correct.
So, the very earliest that this would be heard by the zoning board is next month. They might be able to hold a special meeting, but yeah, that's something that's.
239 will never get a special meeting. They've made that clear to me 1,000 times.
Did you hear that, Wendy?
On worst case scenario, and get approved the night before we start. Might be the first time I saw anything work like this.
So that 239 reviewed through the county and the next month, right?
Yeah, the 239 meets the third Wednesday of every month, Wednesday or Thursday.
But I'll call him, I'll call you tomorrow and you'll let me know.
Yep.
Fire department next. Dan Gavin has a presentation for us. I'll run the computer.
I'll go over to my microphone thing. As the mayor said, I'm Dan Gavin, the chief of the Owego Fire Department. I've been chief for 4 years now, the fire department, and when I became chief 4 years ago, I went to the emergency squad and said, we have a problem. We all know this problem. Past Chief Ed Bidwell, sitting in the front row, will tell you that he was aware of this problem last time he served as chief. And it is a way of funding for the emergency squad, as in what we refer to as a daytime staff. The daytime staff that operates between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. is paid for out of a sweep fund. And the reason it's called the sweep fund, because the woman that left us this money was Miss Sweep. And that money, as we're all aware, keeps going down and dwindling due to payment for the EMTs to be there during daytime staffing. They are not paid for, essentially, with tax dollars. They are in the budget. They are a budget line item. So if you look at it, you would see that they are in there with the village budget. But at the end of the fiscal year, the village actually goes to this fund and petitions them for this money, and the village is reimbursed. So in all, village taxpayers don't pay for their service. Right now, currently at the end of March, we currently have $260,250 left. The exact figures of when we are awarded the money, I don't have. The village tried to get that from the person that runs the trust, and I'm not sure exactly what the numbers were, but that's what we have left to work with.
Can I just interject one thing?
Yeah.
We have not tapped it for this fiscal year yet.
Correct.
We budgeted 148 for the last year, the current budget we're in. That has not been accessed yet out of the 260.
Correct.
Yep.
That will come out, like he said, in August. How much do the EMTs cost? So in August, the projected money that's going to come out of what we currently have is $157,100. That's the projected amount. So that would leave us around $103,000 left for the next budget. Obviously not enough to cover the cost. So the village board asked me to come up with solutions. These solutions aren't anything new to the village board. They're new to this board. But the squad captain in the back row can tell you that he's made several presentations to the village board with solutions. What I have to say about this village board is they are ready to take action and they know action needs to be taken. So if this village board does nothing, it leaves them with only a few options. If they do nothing and they want to keep the paid staff, they need to raise the village taxes an estimated 5.5%, just to pay for the daytime staffing. We average 5 calls a day throughout a 24-hour period. A lot of those are during the day, especially with our walk-ins that are open.
These walk-ins are servicing people from in the county and outside the county. Village taxpayers like myself and the majority of you sitting in the audience are footing the bill for people that may live in the town of North Valley, town of Tioga, maybe not even in this county, maybe they're visiting a relative and they got sick, and we're footing the bill to take them to the hospital, which if we have the money to do so, I don't have a problem with that. But it only compels the issue of how we're going to pay for these calls to be covered. So they have to raise taxes 5.5% on top of whatever other department head concerns are. That's just like I said for the EMS. Or we have to find a way to bill for these services, and we refer to it as soft billing. Soft billing is that we bill only insurances. Or if we send you a bill, we work with you somehow to recoup some of the costs of that EMS. So that's what we've talked with the village attorney, and I've gone to the squad, and this presentation's agreeable that this model can work and it's legal to work. So Mayor, if you'll hit the first slide, please. When we started this process, we said nothing was cast in stone. We all need to work together to make this happen. And several different ideas from the village attorney, the corporation attorney, myself, and the squad all came up with different ideas, and we had to work with how this EMS building was going to go. The village attorney, we presented him a PowerPoint slide of the way we wanted it to work, that we felt would be best. He came back with his suggestions to make it more seamless, that there would not be any issues legally, because the fire department, volunteer fire department cannot bill. So as the Village of Owego Fire Department stands today, we can't send you a bill. It's gone in front of the legislation several times and it's never passed. Next slide, please. And this covers that the volunteer fire departments are not allowed to bill, and agencies that are allowed to bill. Believe it or not, police departments are allowed to bill, paid fire departments are allowed to bill. The closest paid fire department bills would be Binghamton that I'm aware of. Paid EMS and not-for-profit ambulance service, if anybody remembers, like when the Legion was around, the Legion could have billed and so forth. And again, on the bottom slide, it looks at what we're looking for to bill to recoup our expenditures. But the board, and this is a PowerPoint, I guess I should have covered, that we gave the squad. This is the exact thing as what the squad membership saw, because if we don't have the squad membership support, this doesn't happen. If our volunteers will not come out and cover the calls because they don't like the way that this is set up, then we have nothing. We don't work in an efficient manner like we are today. So therefore, there would be a board of directors, and there would be paid management, and there would be volunteer staff. We would have to work together on the way we are working today. There'd still be paid people during the day when most of our volunteer staff is at work with their normal jobs. There would be a payroll expense that's going to exceed the revenue coming in, as in everything that we're going to have to pay to have done, we're not going to collect enough revenue. That's why we'd have to work with the village for things like utility costs, fuel costs, maintenance costs. There still has to be that marriage between the corporation of the emergency squad and the village, but on the village's standpoint, services are already providing to the fire department.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
The board of directors, any idea on how many people? Are you looking for fire department people? Are you looking for regular people?
The board of directors, the way that we set it up, or the way that I propose it be set up with the squad, is there'd be a chairman of the board, and this, so there's going to be another slide here. I probably should just,
yeah, if you're getting
to answer your question, we can just skip forward to the other slide. Go ahead. We've already applied for a 501c3. We're just waiting for the attorney to come through and get it all done. It just opens it up to more funding. So I'll address his question. I thought it was the next slide, but it should be the next one after this.
I can wait.
The squad becomes its own non-for-profit. The squad will be, and you'll see a diagram coming up of how it all works. So this is words. You'll see pictures next, because I like pictures. So the squad will become its own not-for-profit. There'll be soft billing, as I said. The EMS during the day would still remain the same as it is today. We, as in the corporation, would own its own equipment. Initially, the ambulance would be provided by the village. What this means is we won't have to come to the village board and say, hey, in the budget, we currently put $16,000 aside for a new ambulance. We've been doing that for the last 3 years. We have in our budget a new ambulance. I believe Paul's on a 5-year rotation. It'd be a brand spanking new ambulance on a 5-year rotation with our estimation of our revenue that we'd collect in. We wouldn't be buying somebody else's secondhand ambulance as we have for the last few times. Last board meeting, the village board approved to buy an ambulance from Grand Gorge. These would be brand new ambulances that would be paid for out of collecting money from billing. Occupy the space. Again, this would alleviate in our budget. We have a line item for utilities, for storage, everything that would have to come with a building. The fire department will still exist as the way it is today. The ambulances, we would ask the village to allow them to stay where they are today. We would ask that the village still pays all the utility bills. The fire department's still there. So when we look at it from a budget standpoint, this is cutting off that $30,000 that we're not making up at the end to still make net zero. So that is part of what we have to have in the marriage between this corporation and the village. Members are required still to be part of the fire department. The biggest thing when I talked to the squad membership is they said, we still want to belong to the fire department. We don't want the village to make its own ambulance service where we have to belong to two different organizations. So the way that they would join the fire department is essentially the same way that they join the fire